One idea from the book, The Yes Brain, that Dan Siegel and I wrote is the idea of Pushin and cushion. This is to the idea of how do we know if we should push our kids into doing something that they are not comfortable with, something they're resisting or refusing. If your child is dealing with anxiety or tentativeness or nervousness about something, it's really important that we really tune into them and how they're feeling and do the right amount of pushing. Here's why. Let's say you have a child who is a slow to warm up kind of kid and going to like a birthday party or a first day of school or showing up to a sports practice at the very beginning of the season is a little overwhelming to them. They might feel some anxiety and some reluctance, some refusal, some oppositionality. If you push them too much, if you are like, it's no big deal, why are you making a big deal? So we criticize them. And then we just say, too bad, like you signed up for this, you wanted to play, you're going, and you just force them into it without any kind of cushion. It's just all pushing. What can happen is it can be counterproductive because it might feel so big and overwhelming and anxiety producing for them. And keeping in mind that the brain is an association machine, the nervous system remembers these experiences. So in those moments, they can feel like, oh my gosh, that was so terrible and so uncomfortable. I never want to do anything like that again. And so it actually is counterproductive in kind of helping them toughen up. Instead, some parents go to the other extreme, which is like, oh, you don't have to go if you don't want to go. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay. Like, I'll just call the coach, or you don't have to go, or I'll hold your hand the whole time. When parents go to that extreme, on the other side of the pendulum, that's problematic too, because then kids get the implicit message that parents are like, I don't think you can handle this, so I'm going to take care of all of it and be there with you. And so basically we're giving too much cushion. The way we decide how much pushing and how much cushion is to tune into your child at that moment in development, in that week, in that day, and to push them a little bit outside their comfort zone. So you are doing a little bit of pushing, but you want to provide enough cushion so that the experience is pleasant enough that they're willing to do it. So for example, I remember one of my sons was very much a slow to warm up kind of kid, and getting to practices early where he was one of the first kids there and other kids would come one at a time was much better for his nervous system than walking into a whole group full of kids. But I remember one time at a birthday party, he didn't want to go anywhere near the character that was, dressed up and all the chaos and all of the commotion and all the kids. He didn't want to go anywhere near. If I had just grabbed his arm and pulled him up there, it would have overwhelmed him and he would have been even more resistant to try something new like that in the future. Or if I had said, it's okay, you don't have to go, let's go home, or you don't have to go up there at all, we'll just stay in the car, then that would have communicated to him that he can't handle it. And I don't trust that he can handle it. So instead, I did the right balance of pushing and cushion, where I said, well, why don't we get out of the car and just walk to the front of the house? And then we'll just sort of stop. We'll just take a pause there and we'll sort of see how you're feeling. So we would walk up and we would give him a minute. And then I would say, why don't we take 4 more steps and see how that feels? And I would stay with him and help him warm up with these little baby steps, these little titrations that were uncomfortable to him, but still tolerable enough and pleasant enough. And he was interested enough to push through. Then eventually he warms up. He has a great time. We talk about how fun the birthday party was. And his nervous system has an experience of, that was really fun. I was uncomfortable, but I did it and it totally paid off for me. So this is how we do pushing and cushion, is we're monitoring our unique individual child with enough safety, but not so much cushioning that they never grow. My colleague and friend, Audrey Monkey, says that it's just outside of our comfort zone where the growth happens. And I think that's really wise. We take steps that are tolerable and pleasant enough, not too much, not too little. It's a little bit the Goldilocks way of thinking about pushing and cushion, but keeping in mind that your child's brain is always making associations. So you want them to have a positive association with stepping a little outside their comfort zone, the just right amount, so that it's pleasant and they want to do it again.